Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from wherever you want me to be.
And we are doing something super rare.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually starting this episode over, which is why we're smoking, because I made a major blunder and said something I wasn't supposed to. So I've been doing that a lot here lately. But I think that this is the first time we've done this, and sorry, we got to start over. So Here's what we're doing. We are continuing the torture of our taste buds. We started, and we missed last week's episode. We'll talk about that. But the week before last, we were smoking this Smoker's Pride Black Cavendish, which wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You know, I had somebody who emailed me and asked me, they said, look, I'm a wannabe pipe smoker. I've got very little budget, and he actually referenced the fact that I had even said in one of my videos, if you can't even afford the tobacco, you can't afford to be a pipe smoker. And it's like, I've only got a couple bucks for buying tobacco. What would you recommend? And without reservation, this wasn't a bad smoke for a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are smoking the Cherry Cavendish version of this, which I left open in order to let it air out a little bit because, man, was it wet. But it's been raining here constantly for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it still smells like it's wet. It still smells overpowering.
Everything
cherry.
smells like it's wet.
That's true. That's true. It reminds me of like a fruit snack, like a gusher or a fruit by the foot, something that is just...
What's a gusher?
Gush. Well, you're showing your age, and you're showing my age. Child of the '90s here. A gusher is a kid's food. That's like a gummy candy. That's a flavor on the outside, shaped like a diamond, but then on the inside is a liquefied version, almost like a gel version of that candy. So as you bite into
gum
it,
like
gushes.
That, right? There's gum like that.
Yeah, there is, but it's
squirt.
weird. It's weird with gum because
the gum that goes squirt was the.
But it's weird with gum because you don't want your gum to be wet. Like, and then I don't ever know with that. Am I supposed to mix the liquid into the gum that I'm chewing, or am I supposed to keep them separate?
Yes. What was the gum that goes squirt?
I'm not sure.
I'm getting it mixed with the jingle for Velements.
Yeah.
Velemint took the sugar out. You can really taste the mint. So something that takes your breath away. Nope, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Not it.
Cool, what I would refreshing Velemint.
If it's been a while since you've had a gusher, they're still around, and they recently came out with a fire and sweet or honey and ice, or I forget what it is, but they have sweet flavored outside with hot flavored inside. Now, they're for general consumption, they're for children, so it's not going to burn your face off, but there's a nice kick to it. I ate one recently, a peach flavor, that's the best one.
How many carbs is one?
It's like 5 carbs, so thankfully I had it to spare, but I'm the one that kind of peer pressured my buddy into getting it, and so he got the whole box. I made him eat all of the diabetes, and then I took my one.
He got the beaties, and
he got the beaties, and I got one. I got to taste what they taste like. They're pretty good. That's what the smell of the tobacco is.
I was wondering where you were coming with all that, or going with all that.
Very, very sweet. It's overpowering.
So, I don't like cherry tobacco, and I've been smoking this now for about 5 minutes. It isn't bad. Even though, like you say, the bag note, the pouch note is pretty strong. The smoke is not bad.
The first two or three.
Shocked by this.
First 2 or 3 after lighting it, I didn't care for, but yeah, it's mellowed out quite a bit. It's mellowed out a lot. I don't know if the casing is just gone at this point, or
that could be what it is.
And so we're just smoking the Black Cavendish now without the cherry casing, or
no, it's there, but I have to say this isn't by any means a favorite tobacco, but for the price, this is really surprising. All right, so a couple things to catch up on since we were last together. We were both traveling last week and the week before, and it just was impossible for us to get together and record, and we tried to get our schedules to conjoin, and you had the craziest week.
Yeah, I was out of town for 8 days straight. I came home after driving late into the night. One day got home at lunch and left at 3 a.m. the next morning. So I spent an afternoon
home from Florida.
Yeah, so we left for Florida on Tuesday. Drove halfway there. Left for Florida Tuesday afternoon after spending the morning in meetings at work. This is for work. This is all work travel. Made it to Georgia. Went the rest of the way. Set up for a trade show. We had 3 days of trade shows. Trade show ends at 4 o'clock on Saturday. We drive half of the way home. Drive the rest of the way home early that next morning, so that we're able to get home in time for lunch, late lunch with our families. And then the same guy, the same coworker I was traveling with, he's the one I peer pressured into getting the gushers.
It's a travel gusher.
It was a travel gusher. He and I then had to leave at 3 a.m. to catch a 6 a.m. flight out of Raleigh to Connecticut the next day. We were there for an evening, and then flew back that
Freshen
afternoon.
up. Freshen up's the gum that goes. Freshen up's the gum that goes squirt.
And so, those of you that saw last week's video, I recorded that having just dropped him off. Our evening flight was delayed, and so had just arrived home 1:30 a.m. in the morning after having been up 3:30 the morning before and only having slept once. I was exhausted. I think it came across, but it was a lot of travel. And we had made plans to try to film. He was also out of town. And to try to film while we were both gone, and it was impossible.
So I was in Dallas and then came back and almost immediately left for a week in New York City. Which, in New York City, I got to spend an evening with the New York Pipe Club. And that was fun. I really enjoyed that. There were probably 10 people total. A couple came and left. It's at a cigar bar in Soho, and that's in Manhattan. The New York, and
I know nothing about New York.
Well,
nothing about geography.
New York is divided into a number of boroughs.
Okay,
right. So
I've been playing the Spider-Man game, so I know New York from like tops of the buildings, but not so much street level.
So downtown Manhattan it's actually an island, right? So it's a long kind of ellipse-shaped island. And I'm doing it to my perspective. It's shaped a little bit more like this.
Yep.
And downtown, which is where the Twin Towers were, right? That's right next to Soho, which is just a little bit northwest of that.
Okay.
South Houston, I think is what they refer to it. Spelled like Houston, but it's Houston.
Okay.
Soho, and anyway, it's like right next to or very close to where Wall Street is, right? So where all the brokerages firms are.
I know that one from National Treasure.
Very close to where Casey Neistat's place, 368, is located on South Broadway. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. These guys, like I say, they came and went throughout the evening. It was a bar that also happened to have small plates of tapas. And one of the things that I got, I think the only thing I got to eat that night, and I hoarded it, I didn't share it, it's all shareable, and I didn't share one bit of it, was they had a buffalo chicken meatball. So imagine meatballs that are made from ground chicken, but inside the meatball is a chunk of blue cheese.
Yes, please.
And then after that's cooked, however that's cooked, it's then doused with buffalo chicken sauce.
Is it breaded?
Spicy. No, not at all.
Breading in it?
Not at all. And served with little skewers in each one, so you pick it up and dip it in some more of the hot sauce if you like, which, yes, I like.
Yes.
The server, I asked her, hey, between these couple items here, which were the meat-based ones, which would you go for? She goes, well, do you like hot? Yeah. She goes, then you want to go for the buffalo chicken balls.
Yeah.
She did not steer me wrong.
Yeah.
And but like I said, there were about 10 people there. I was invited by a gentleman named Andre, and he was there, and Dimitri, who is also in the Corncob Nation group, he was there. There's a gentleman named Patrick, a gentleman named Mike, a gentleman named
That's the risk you take when you start listing everyone's name and you forget one, and you're the jerk that forgot one person.
I am the jerk.
You should have just stopped at like 2 people and then said, and there were lots of others there, and it was really nice to meet them.
And the problem is, it was my favorite guy.
Oh! So you hear that, rest of you yahoos whose name he remembered? Not his favorite. That sounds like great fun.
Fun group, and like normal, you got guys with all different kinds of pipes that they have with them, different tobaccos that they're there to share. Several people smoked on the Fruit Loopy German tobacco, and then there was a slight fist fight to decide where it was going to go when it was done.
Sure.
Actually, so they just looked for somebody had to have a Ziploc baggie so they could divvy it up. And,
they didn't say, "Oh, it's an aromatic." No, thank you.
Actually, there was a little bit of that happened. A little bit.
Yeah. It's a really good aromatic, though.
Yeah. It's such a different, it's such a strong aromatic that, you know, folks that like an English blend, it kind of leans strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun. And then the week was busy, and I had one opportunity to smoke my pipe after the club meeting, and then that was it. The rest of the time was spent vaping and eating and working.
Yeah. Speaking of eating,
yeah,
how's the low carb going?
Pretty good. I was a little frustrated because I came back and I hadn't lost a single pound, and I didn't do much cheating, and I did a lot of walking.
Yeah.
So I fully expected to have lost a little bit of weight, and I didn't. So I'm kind of in a stall, but I know that happens, and not to freak out over it.
That happens to me anytime I travel. My weight will stall or go up, but then about 3 days of being home and it drops back down pretty suddenly. And I don't know what it is because I don't change my eating habits much, except that you know, eating out more, and sometimes eating out it can be more difficult. Either it's more difficult or it's more expensive. You know, because if you're going
more expensive.
Like burger places, I love going to burger places because you can eat lots of toppings. You can usually get a salad. We went out to a burger place in Greensboro the other night. I think it was $17 for my burger because it was a $3 upcharge for fries, or for a salad. It was a $3 charge for a second patty, $1 for an egg. So all told, it ended up being to get 2 patties, an egg,
Where did you
and
go?
some normal toppings.
Was it the
It was
Porterhouse?
at Bad Daddy's. No, it was Bad Daddy's.
Oh.
But in order to get something that, you know, felt like a good meal, and it was delicious. Like I'm not upset about what I got, but the price was outrageous. But that's what it costs to get something like that. So I want to ask now, because I want to brag just a moment. Some of you have asked how things are going. Some of you have even mentioned being encouraged to start a low-carb diet or dieting of any type, or not dieting, lifestyle change, choosing to eat differently. Please do that.
You're not going to regret it. I mean,
No.
seriously. And think back to a month ago, third Thursday in the month. What did you have? See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That pizza goes from your memory. You have a vague idea that you had really good pizza. But, you know, I had a 32-ounce ribeye that was life-changing.
And it's diet food.
And it's diet food on a low-carb diet. So
Yeah. So yeah, be encouraged, you know, and for me, what had stopped me a lot of times was the exhaustion of having failed so often. And I might still fail with this. I don't plan to, but it's possible. But that shouldn't stop you from trying. Don't let that be a deterrent. And so I want to say this now because my goal is, by the time the last video we're recording today comes out, I will have already hit a goal weight loss. But in 5.5 months, I've lost 95 pounds as of this morning. So my goal is, by the time you see me next, having recorded,
next recording. So 4
next
weeks.
recording, 4 weeks from now, I will have had 100 pounds lost since.
So that'll
in 6
explain
months.
why the next 2 weeks will look exactly as we do today.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But since this time a year ago, lost 105 pounds. Feel great, and you know, have a long way to go, but that's okay. I'm eating steak and cheese and pepperoni and all the time. I feel great.
So let's tie this
You can do
all
it.
let's tie this all together. Meetups,
Neat.
and eat-ups.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Richmond show, kinda. We're going to be at the Richmond show on Friday because we're going to go to the Sutliff tour. And from there, we will do the Friday night dinner and hang out. And so if you're able to be in Richmond, we will be with you. We're going to stay the night and maybe have a brief appearance on Saturday. I say appearance. I don't mean we're taking a stage or anything. We may be able to show up and see what the actual event looks like. I want to do that because it's a big deal that it's come back. But we both have things we got to get back home too. So
yeah, I'll be gone leaving that Sunday. I'll be gone from Sunday to Friday, out on business travel again. So needing to get home to prepare for that and get home to see my family a little bit.
I leave right after that. I go to Naples, Florida, and then I also have more travel coming up.
Well, if you don't know anything about that show, we've only mentioned it briefly before. It's going to be.
Oh, somebody's knocking on the window.
Don't know who that is.
I don't either.
It's going to be in a couple weeks. It's going to be next Friday.
We'll go check it out.
And we will.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we'll be going to that. We'll make sure to put a link with some information to the description. With that, I'm going to go ahead and we'll end this because it's a little bit weird that someone's knocking on the workshop late at night. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week. It's just a neighbor. Someone just checking in. All right. Make it a great week. The tobacco is surprisingly pretty good. All right. See you guys.